But the first one, write a method with the following header with three formal parameters. Number one, number two, number three. Your method should first compute the average of the numbers, then print the average and three numbers in decreasing order. So largest to smallest. Okay. So let's create a new project. And actually, I think I already have one. Do I? Nope, I don't. All right. Let's create a new project. Java application. Assignment 8. All right. So the first thing is we need to create our method header, which is public static void display sorted numbers. And then we have these three formal parameters. All right. So public static void display sorted numbers. Then we have three formal parameters, which are all doubles. So double num1, double num2, and double num3. All right. So the first thing we need to do is compute the average. Well, to compute the average of anything, the first thing we need to do is sum up all the numbers. So double sum equals num1 plus num2 plus num3. Right? I'm just adding up all the numbers. That gets me my sum. Then our average equals sum divided by 3. Right? We have three numbers. So we take our sum and we divide it by 3 in order to get the average. Then we want to print that out. System.out.println average. Then we add in, we concatenate whatever we calculated for that average into this this print line statement. All right, so the first part is done. We computed the average and we printed out the average. Now we need to sort the numbers. So if we want to sort the numbers, there's a whole bunch of different ways you can sort the numbers. But we did a problem a couple weeks ago where we sorted the numbers using if statements. So I'll do that again. If num1 greater than num2, that means num1 is greater than num2, and num2 greater than num3. So this if statement means num1 is greater than num2, and num2 is greater than num3. Therefore, num1 would be the largest, num2 would be the middle, and num3 the smallest. So system.out.println largest, and then I'm going to concatenate num1. Actually, let's just print the numbers out. Num1 plus, let's put a space in between it, num2 plus, put a space in between it, concatenate num3. All right, there we go. So this works for if num1 is the largest, num2 is the middle, and num3 is the smallest. Well, let's swap out num2 for num3, and we have our first set of if statements for if num1 is the largest. There's only two. If num1 is the largest, there's only two other ways the rest of those numbers can go. Either num3 is the smallest or num2 is the smallest. So we've checked for num3 being the smallest. Let's check for num2. Else, essentially what you can do is just copy this right here, paste it down here. Else if swap these numbers out, num3, and then num2. This would mean num3 is the middle, and num2 is the smallest. All right. And so for this first case, that would be number1 is the largest number, and then the other two will fall into place. Let's check for number2 being the largest, and then number3 being largest, and we'll be done. So else if num2 is larger than num1. All right, now we're checking if num2 is the largest, num1 is the middle, and num3 is the smallest. System.out.println, num2, num1, num3. Let's swap those last two. Let's check if num2 is the largest and num1 is the smallest. Bam, bam. Now we've done all our checks for num1 being the largest and num2 being the largest. And again, there are many different ways you can solve this program. This is just how I choose to solve it this way. And then we need two last else if statements for if num3 is the largest, right? And so let's do this, make it a little bit clearer for you all. Check if num2 is largest. Up here, check if num1 is largest. And down here, check if num3 is largest. And I'm using an else if statement because if I used all if statements, even if one of these are true, it would still check all of them. However, using else if, as soon as one of these else if or if statements are true, it'll stop evaluating the other ones and just move on, right? So that's an efficiency thing. You don't want it to check everything. You just want it to check one of these. Whichever the first one it encounters that's fully true, do it and then move on. If I used all if statements, it would do it if it was true and then keep checking all the other ones. We don't want that. All right. So down here, num3 is the largest, num1 is middle, and num2 being the smallest. Swap that. And down here, num3 being the largest, num2 being the middle, and then num1 being the smallest. Print that out. All right, and there we go. All right, from there, if you turn this in, that's fine, your program works, but it would have been nice if you had allowed me to type in numbers from the console, if you had prompted me to enter in 3 numbers, and then called your method. So for example, we create our scanner object, input equals new scanner, system.in, and then you tell the user, Control-Shift-I, tell the user system.out.println, enter 3 numbers. That would have made it a lot easier to test your program. If you didn't, that's fine. Double number1 equals input.next double. Double number2 equals input.next double. And then double number3 equals input.next double. From there, we just call our method, passing in those numbers we just read. And there we go. So when I run this, you should see a prompt down here, enter 3 numbers. I enter in 3 numbers, point something, and then point something. It should compute the average and then print out the numbers in decreasing order, which, yep, that looks correct. This does say 8.794, blah, 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 e to the power of 7, so 10 to the power of 7. So that's actually a pretty large number. It's this number up here. All right, any questions? Now we'll upload this video to the website so you can review it.
We good. Well, at least I am. I got it.
Anybody else got questions? Anybody? Well, again, if you have any questions, you can send it in the chat as a private message to me. I'll answer it. Or you can set up an office hour and we can talk about it. I have plenty of time now. So you are free to email me and establish an office hour. All right, well, let's move on to